Hi, this is Swapnil Bharti and welcome to another episode of Linux and Open Source Security. Polyverse has developed a new open source detection agent called Zerotect to detect a BROP attack or any kind of buffer overflow attacks. But what exactly is Zerotect and how does it work? To get answers to some of these questions, we have with us once again in our virtual studio, Alex Gounares, CEO and founder of Polyverse. Alex, it's great to have you back on the show once again.
Thank you, Swapnil. Real pleasure to be back.
So let's start with what exactly is Zerotect and how does it work?
Zerotect is a new open source tool that we've provided to the world at large, since it's open source, to detect otherwise undetectable memory attacks. And in particular, we detect some of the most sophisticated attacks that are being launched today.
When you look at cyber attacks in general, how severe are buffer overflow attacks in terms of damage and how pervasive they are?
So these are some of the toughest attacks out there. If you look at studies from Verizon, IBM's Polyverse Institute, and so forth, the numbers, vary in the precision, but roughly 2/3 to 3/4 of all successful attacks are memory-based attacks. So these are your WannaCry attacks, your Equifax attacks, your Sony, Target, Home Depot, PPP, Systemd, Spectres, Meltdowns. These are all forms of memory attack. So it is the most pernicious type of attack out there.
You also maintain a kind of database of keeping an eye on vulnerabilities and attacks. Have you seen any increase?
Well, as we've talked about before, I think we have seen a notable increase in cyber attacks, particularly in the era of the pandemic, right? With everybody working from home and putting greater strains on IT systems. You have more people that are connecting in ways that they used to not connect. And that's creating just a lot more challenges, both for IT and security departments, but conversely, it's creating a lot of opportunities for attackers.
And how hard is it to detect these buffer overflow attacks?
It's both fairly straightforward. I mean, the source code is out there for anybody to read, so you can read the source code and see exactly the algorithms and techniques we use to detect these attacks. So on one hand, it is it's not all that complicated, but on the other hand, these are typically attacks that are bypassing all of the traditional cybersecurity defenses like your firewalls and antivirus. So if you install Zerotect, and it's a very lightweight agent, there's no dependencies. It works on pretty much any version of Linux going back the last 15 years. Because again, it has no dependencies. It's a very, very simple install. If Zerotect flags an issue, then A, you can be very confident that it's an issue. And B, you can also be confident that that attack is bypassing all of your deployed defenses. No matter what you have deployed, once the attacker is actually interacting with the machine, they've gotten past your other defenses.
If we just look outside of what you are doing with Zerotect, traditionally, how hard it has been for players to detect these attacks? Because, if it was so easy to detect, everybody should be doing it. It should not be a big issue at all. So I want, you have developed technology to solve this problem, but I'm talking before you solve this problem.
So before it was very difficult because people were hiding in the noise. This is the basic challenge. And this is what the attackers were doing, is they were using very sophisticated algorithms that were tantamount to discovering grains of sand randomly picked in the world. And because of that, because they're at this sort of super low threshold, very, very lightweight attack algorithms, they basically went undetected as noise, just sort of the normal random crashes and other hiccups that any system gets. If you're running any kind of large scale service, you're going to have thousands of events an hour anyway. Just random stuff happening, servers that need to reboot, running out of memory, running out of disk space. And this is the normal day-to-day operations of any complex data center. And so these attacks were basically running in under the noise of just day-to-day life. And that's what we're able to now suss out and look for very specific telltale signatures of these memory attacks.
Of course, Polyverse, you guys keep coming up with solutions, but why did you create this solution now? Did you see, as you mentioned, there was an increase in, buffer overflow attacks, but why now?
So we're very simply responding to market needs. With our technologies, we do a very effective job at stopping these memory attacks. And for our most sophisticated customers, they already had in place the mechanisms needed to understand the nature of the attacks, to do the forensics, to understand that we were actually being effective, and so forth. And as we've been expanding out our customer base and going to a broader audience, what we realized very quickly was that the standard commercially available detection tools that your average Fortune 500 was using, these detection tools were not detecting the attacks. And so we saw a gap in the market. And since we're not a detection company, we focus on resiliency, we decided to offer this for free because there's a lot to detection and reporting and all the analytics and auditing and various other features that a tool like FireEye or Palo Alto has. So there's a very rich set of capabilities. There are a lot of players in the market, and it's very competitive. We didn't see any need to reinvent the wheel, but we do want to augment those capabilities. So our standard detection agent, the Zerotect tool, it plugs into all of the standard SIMs, security incident monitors that are out there, because it uses just the standard CEF format.
Alex, thank you so much for talking on Zerotect and also buffer overflow attacks. And as usual, I will look forward to talk to you again. Thank you.